What's up YouTube, this is Danny's Reef Tank. Today going to be giving you a tour of the sump for my Red Sea Reefer 350. We're going to do an overall sump tour here, show you the equipment. We can also have some links down if you want to check out the equipment at the bottom. Just click the arrow in the description and go check them out if you want to get any new equipment for your tank. But here we go guys, we're going to dive in pretty deep, so get pumped, get stoked. Starting off on the left, we have the Nios Quantum 120 skimmer. I love this skimmer. It is definitely the quietest skimmer I've ever used. I used to have a Reef Octopus needle wheel. Not that it was loud, but that was definitely much louder. The skimmer is super quiet. I know it's showing a little bit of a wet film right now for the skim, but I cleaned it earlier and think I just need to dial it back in. Usually I don't have to mess with the dial too much and it gives me a really dry skim. But I think I just may have got it out of its fluke system temporarily, and really easy to clean, really easy to remove the suction cup at the top and then clean it. I don't have a drain port in this one, so you couldn't drain it to an exterior dump filter, but I love it guys. It's very easy to use. So the Red Sea Reefer comes with that tank up top, which is your water reserve. That comes in stock and it gives you a float valve. I do not like the float valve at all. So what I did is I basically got one of the auto top offs. It's one of the Micro Smart auto top offs. Really love that. It has a laser that goes down to the bottom, and I'll show you in 1 second. Basically, it's a glowing blue light that has a really nice alarm. It's the blue light on the right side. It's a magnet. Basically shoots the laser and gives you a nice beep if your reserve filter is empty, and then it's going to beep so much that you need to go change it and turn it off and refill it. Also have the Ecotech. It is the Spectrum S2 DC return pump down there. Also have my 2 heaters. And then on the exterior up there on the top right, where basically they have a pre-built cutout and you can run all your cords to the other side of the shelving. And then I got a bunch of mixed live rock down there, starting to really take off compared to when I first put it in there. I think the tank's starting to get a little bit off the new cycle. The filter media baskets is a must upgrade, and then I just throw a bunch of filter floss in there. Check out the filter basket link below because you really need them. And then this is basically all the equipment and wiring. It's ugly, but cleaner than it has been in the past. I run 2 MP40s, the quiet drives, and also an MP10. I have another MP10 that I probably will be adding. I just haven't honestly taken the time to get the wires cleaned up and insert it in the back of the tank. And then the other controller from Ecotech is obviously your Spectrum or your Vectrus S2 return pump. I have 2 Ecotech backup batteries on the bottom. Have them sitting on top. They don't seem to get warm, so I think they're in a safe location. And then everything else is just the plugs from all the other equipment. But what I want to show you next is basically the random stuff I keep in the basket down below. So this is basically everything I keep at the bottom of my tank, with the exception of a bag of filter floss and then some seaweed I use to feed my tank. And then every once in a while you'll see some Kimi Pure Blue containers, because that's what I like to run up under the filter floss in the filter media baskets. But I like to feed, far as the pellet food, I really love the Ocean Nutrition Formula 1 pellets, and then I also like the New Life Spectrum Sinking Small Pellets. Those are really both 2 of great foods. I'm going to do a review, kind of comparison, pros and cons of each, so be on the lookout for that at some point. I also like to use the Brightwell Liquid Reef. It's kind of like an all-in-one doser. It's definitely probably not as accurate as you could do with like a 3-part system and getting more complicated with some more of your complex elements. But I do think it's a great one just to have in general if you're not really doing much dosing. The Liquid Reef's kind of that all-in-one. Have my TDS checker, have my Reef Breeders Photon V2 controller down here, a backup seaweed clip. Don't really like the suction ones, but it's a backup. And then an emergency battery power air blower. Really just need that for emergency, so I would go ahead and spend the money and have that on hand in case if you need it. And then of course a fishnet and some lights. What I want to do in the future to the sump is I'm really interested in adding a UV system down here, a UV bulb to kill a lot of the microorganisms. There's a lot of debate what that does, but I think when you get the higher end stuff, I think you're good, because really your good bacteria is on your live rock. And then also possibly looking at a smaller refugium setup, really just looking at growing some Chaeto, and then maybe increase my pod population down there at the bottom with a pod hotel. But I hope you guys like this video. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you check out the links below if you want to check out the equipment, or go back and look at some past videos. Have some really cool stuff, guys. Danny's out. Later, guys. Happy reefing.